Hello and happy Wine Wednesday. And it is a special Wednesday because it's the first one of the month.
It is, and that means that there is 15% off all wine in store, which is great because if you missed out last week on sale week, you still have one more day to come in and get a deal on your Christmas stock up.
I thought all the deals were done, but I forgot about this one. So there you go. You got one more crack at it today. If you're looking to load up, you can still get a great deal. And we got a mess of wine that we're going to open today too for one of our favorite southern French wines coming back into stock.
I know. I love all of the wines from Château, Négly. So they're down in a little subregion of Le Clap, and it's right close to the Mediterranean.
Yeah. I found this winery kind of by accident, actually. Mm-hmm. It's a great story because we were just out for lunch on a holiday down there several years ago. And I tried the rosé at lunch at a restaurant, and I loved it. And I thought, we should pop by and grab a case of this because when I flipped over the bottle, I noticed that the village was right on our drive home. So when we rolled in to grab that rosé, we ended up tasting everything like we do. And next thing I know, we were their importer.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of wineries in the last 25 years of traveling around France, and I have to say, this is maybe the prettiest one I've ever been to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is stunning. They sit, Le Clap is, it's a national park, and it's like this massive sort of rock formation. The French go camping and hang out. It's really quite beautiful. It's like all these, trees and really unusual rock formations, and they sit right at the base of it. So their vineyards kind of sit at the bottom of these like massive stone walls that just kind of come up out of nowhere. And then there's an old chateau that kind of sits nestled in there, and it all looks onto the ocean. So it's
Sounds
like
awful.
Yeah, it's this beautiful little setup they got going there, and the wines are spectacular. And I like that they have things all the way from entry level all the way up to really high end. Their top wines sell for $200-300. Which we don't typically bring in, but we do bring in this guy, and I'm excited to open this. We got all the pack in front of me, but I'm reaching for the top
Okay.
end. Yeah, and this one goes for about $49, somewhere in there. You want to talk about this guy, the La Felice?
Well, I haven't had this before,
Well,
so
I'm
I'm
about
super
to change
excited.
that for
I have
you.
had all of these, and this is why I put them together, because we haven't had the Chardonnay from them in quite a while.
Yeah,
So we've kind of talked about the rosé. The rosé, one of my favorites. It's got a little bit of like this hint of grapefruit, a little salty from the ocean. Really happy sun-kissed grapes that are making up that guy. So that's a fantastic little bottle. And then the Chardonnay is great for people who are not really sure about their Chardonnay because it's a really crisp, fresh style of Chardonnay, right?
Yeah, they don't hit it with the big oak bomb, so it's a really nice, accessible style of Chard. It's kind of bright. It's got a little bit of power to it. It's got a little bit of richness, but not oaky. And then there's the special, your fave.
This is my favorite.
So you're walking out of that one all the time.
Little Bourboulon and Roussanne blend. So, I mean, when I think of wintry whites and a white that has a little bit more texture, this is definitely a wine that fits that category, but yet it's got this salinity and kind of minerality underneath it that just like helps to balance it out and make it feel still really fresh, even though it's got that texture and creaminess to it.
It's a special wine, right? Because we see white Rhones kind of falling out of favor a little bit sometimes because people think of them as being these big, unctuous, rich, like heavy wines. But the style that we're seeing is changing very quickly. White Châteauneuf du Pape and white Côte d'Ivoire, white Lirac, and then this as well. So we're seeing like a fresher style is really emerging. So Bourboulon is a grape variety. You see white Châteauneuf usually is a minor grape variety. Roussanne typically has that big, weighty, kind of honey character to it. But they harvest this a little bit earlier. The Bourboulon gives it some really nice acidity and freshness, so you get like a really crisp wine, but it does have that like kind of like white peach note to it and some of those stone fruit characters that I love. So if you like white Châteauneuf or white Rhones in general, this is just a screaming buy. I think it's one of the really best examples of those grape varieties in the shot. And then the Boat is back. I love that one too.
The Boat is back. And this one is a little bit different than the others that are coming from the region. So most of the time we're finding grapes like Cinsault, Syrah, Morvet, and we're making these little blends that are fitting that category.
Yeah.
But in the Domaine de Boat, it's the neighboring property to Négly, and they've actually got a little bit of Alicante that they're blending in too. So it's kind of like the spicier, richer, it gives a little hint of like raisin and those more like baked fruit kind of notes.
Yeah, it kind of smells a little bit like Christmas cake.
But like,
the season. Yeah, but like all their wines, I find it's kind of light on its feet and and they're moving to that like fresher, brighter style. I've always really admired La Côte. I think it's one of the just best deals in the shop. It sits somewhere between Côte d'Iron and Chateauneuf stylistically. There's some real structure and weight to it and some power, but again, they do it in a way where it just really comes together in a very drinkable wine. It's not kind of beating you over the head. And
that
then,
freshness
shows
shows through here. Yeah.
Because the top wines from these guys, they're all single vineyard wines, and this is the start of that series. So there's 3 wines in this, and they're based on Syrah, and usually a good chunk of Mourvedre and Grenache. And what they do with these, because they do have that ocean breeze that comes into these vineyards, right? It's not a real hot kind of region in the southern Rhone or the southern Languedoc the way you would expect it to be, because it is that kind of sun-beat region that you just get big, heavy wines from sometimes. But you get the ocean sort of influencing and moderating this area, so you do get this real freshness and a prettiness in Syrah that you're maybe not used to seeing in this neck of the woods.
And this has just like such a good lingering finish to it too. Like I had that sip a little bit ago, and as you're talking, it's just still sitting there. It's so good.
It's the crushed raspberries, right? It's just like super fresh, super pretty. I'm a really, really big fan of this wine. You get some of that white pepper kind of note on it. It reminds me of, you know, wines that sell for, you know, $70 or $80 from Chateauneuf or even the Northern Rhone. But because it's from the Flat, you don't see the same sort of price points there. So great value there. What's the pack going for this week?
Well, we've got it on for quite a deal, $30 off if you were to be buying them all on their own. So you want to hop online, it's on for $109 for those 5, and you're not going to beat that deal.
Nice.
So check it out.
Christmas
Come
present
in
from
store.
Robin, really. I feel like a little
Merry
bonus.
Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. Don't say she never did anything for you.
I'll for sure be taking some of these home. Come in store if you want to try them. We still have all other gifting options available in store if you want little half bottle 6-packs, reindeer packs for your beer lover, 12 days of wine. It is never too late to start 12 months of wine.
Oh,
so
still plenty of time to do that. Can't have too much wine in your house this time of year, I always say, right? There's always going to be people dropping by. I like to just buy a few bottles and gift wrap them and just keep them at home, because I know there's going to be that teacher or that person in your life that you forgot. You can just have that bottle wrapped and ready to go.
And we can help you with that. We do free tissue and ribbon wrapping in store. So
yeah, or if you want to give a gift of an experience, we've got all kinds of tastings up online on Eventbrite, so you can buy tickets to those for all kinds of events going through January, February, March that are all up there. And a couple tastings. I think there's 2 spots left in our Bordeaux tasting next week, which should be a really fun one. We got some great wines in that. So
great little night out for December.
We gave you lots of ideas today, so no excuses for not, killing it at the holidays this year.
You bet.
Anything else?
That's it. Come on in. See us in store.
Thanks.